Santa can't go anywhere without his bells. I bet you all thought I was going to come out and say, ho, ho, ho. Well, my ho, ho, ho is kind of weak. And so I leave that to the Jolly Green Giant, and I just say Merry Christmas. I started this, well, not really, but my first Santa opportunity, let's say, was in 1947. I was 9 years old, and I had grown up sufficiently of my cousins to be the one who could do this. And they gave me a mask, ugliest mask I have ever seen. They said it was a Santa mask. I put it on. My objective was to walk around the house, rap on the window, and then everybody in the living room would go crazy because Santa Claus had just left all the presents on the front porch. And now I have to run back into the back door and arrive at the front door from the inside because I am no longer Santa Claus, I am a recipient of all the presents. And we all celebrated on Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve, I guess, was a German custom, and my family followed it because she and her sisters, my mother and her sisters, liked to sleep late on Christmas Day. So by doing it at Christmas Eve, we were all taken care of. The next time, 34 years later, 1981, and the Exchange Club asked me if I would do Santa Claus as Breakfast with Santa. I have always had my beard, not really always, but quite a long time. My youngest daughter's in the audience, and I started growing it when she came. It was very black, so I wore a phony beard. And I went to get a suit, and there were no suits available in town, but Piper Aircraft happened to have had a fantastic Christmas party the night before. And they would lend us the suit that had come off somebody else's body at 12 o'clock the night before. It had 8 hours to get prepared for me. And it was like climbing into somebody else's bathing suit. Well, I did the Santa Claus, and I did it the way I thought it should be done. I had never been a Santa Claus before. And I did Santa Claus that way for the first 20 years. And then my wife, Patty, said, remember, the people you're talking to as Santa Claus are children. And you should really talk to them in their languages, in their frame of reference, so that the two of you could have a nice conversation back and forth. I've gone through 4 of these. This is my 5th outfit, and we decorated it a little extra. But one of the things that I wanted desperately was to have a pocket. Santa Claus suits don't come with pockets. But I had to have a place for my gloves, my handkerchief, because I cry a lot, and a phone. And as I was dressing one day, I shook my blouse like this with my phone inside and into the toilet. Had I put the top down, I'd have been in good shape, wouldn't I? Right into the toilet. And I reached in and grabbed it as quickly as I could and ran outside to talk to the firemen who were there because I figured they knew intercommunications. This was years ago. I was doing about 45 Santa Clauses here in town, only for the nonprofits. And I said to them, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Well, they said, take the batteries out. In those days, you could even get into a phone. And I pulled the batteries out. And my problem now is I can complete the session I'm at, but I've got, let's say, 42 to go. and I kept everything in my phone. No backup in those days, no cloud. So the solution to this is to contact the newspaper. So I called Russ Lemon, and I said, Russ, I'm in desperate trouble. This was on Saturday morning. He does a Tuesday column. I said, I'm in desperate trouble. I need you to announce to the community that I have no record of where I'm supposed to be when. Will they please all call me? I probably don't have anything till next weekend, but have them all give me a call if you will. Well, Russ put it in, and since then I've been known as the Santa Claus who dropped his phone in the toilet. Well, I've done a whole lot of wonderful things, and it's a nice thing about Vero is the community. I've done the Christmas parade, and the first year I waved at everybody. And then the second year I hollered to them, because in Vero you know so many people. And so I'd holler to them, wish them a Merry Christmas, pass a condominium and you wish them Merry Christmas. The next year I convinced them that they should really have a microphone for me. And we finally got a microphone so I didn't have to, and I could work both sides of the sleigh at once. I've done a Harley run. I've done 3 Harley runs where you have 400 motorcycles running alongside you, and lots of fun, lots of noise, again, waving at people. One of the wonderful opportunities that I had when doing one of those Harley runs, there was a little girl who was too ill to go to the hospital, and their nurse had contacted my wife and told her of the problem, and could I stop by that afternoon? And I said, probably have one better than that. How about if she'll go out and stand on the end of her driveway, I'll go by with 400 Harley motorcycles. And we did that. I've done malls, schools, personal appearances. I don't like those. But the one I like best is when I use my bench. Now, most Santa Clauses want to have a large, big chair. I learned that it's better to have a bench because you can sit there. The child can sit there. The child and her mother can sit there, or his mother. Everybody can be there together. This is I call it my friendship bench. And it gives us an opportunity to just converse. One of the things, as I say, have to speak in little people's conversations. And so I would then talk about the Christmas tree. Who puts up the Christmas tree in your house? Do you go get it together? Does somebody bring it home? Here in Vero Beach, for years, they worked a sand pine as a Christmas tree, and it was caught and cut on the sand bridge. And so people could go out, cut down their own tree, and take it home. It didn't last very long, but it was a nice local tree. Well, I asked the children, firstly, who puts it up? Who decorates it? What color's your favorite color? And invariably, it's pink and purple for the girls, green and blue for the boys. And then who puts the ornament on the top of the tree? And sometimes they'll tell me, Dad does that. And they always have a laugh as, are you going to fall over when you do that? Because it's way up in the air. And the best one is, how high are the low branches? Is there enough room for 1 row of presents? 2 rows of presents? Sometimes they'll get me up about this high and they say, yeah, we have enough for 3 rows of presents. But then there's the poor kid whose father or mother picked the best tree and the branches go all the way to the ground. What'll I do there? Had one kid, he say, put him on the sofa. The children are smarter than I am. a thing happened to me when I was doing Santa Claus for 14th Avenue. They have an event right after Thanksgiving, and I've done that for a number of years. And we had a gazebo that we built particularly for that event. It was on wheels so we could haul it in and haul it out. And I was sitting there, a little boy came up and he said, "Santa, my mother died. Can you bring her back?" And out of my head, I said, "Do you have her in your heart?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "I guarantee that she will always be there." Funny things happen too, but the sad ones are the ones that you remember best or most. My grandson, I was going to do Santa for him and got all dressed up. By this time, I have a white beard, a naturally white beard. And for a period of time, when we were doing Santas, I'd go to the sign painter and they would airbrush my black beard into a white one. And when that got white, but the eyebrows were still, and they are today even, slightly dark, we'd use some shoe polish on them and maybe on the mustache just to whiten it down. But my grandson was standing at the door and I came in and he looked up at me with this very quizzical look. He said, "Pop, is that you in there?" The one real problem I have as when I'm with the children is they all know more about Santa Claus than I do. They've all seen the bad Santa Claus, the Disney Santa Claus, the Santa Claus where the guy Santa falls off the roof, and I always have to answer questions about that. Did it hurt? And the Polar Express, I have to know all about the Polar Express. It is a major instructional situation to have everything ready to do the Santa Claus in the correct way. I would, though, as I close, like to say, yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus, and it's in the kindness of humanity. And I would ask you, if you will please pay it forward. Help the guy next door, open the door, close the door, let him out of a parking lot. Have that Christmas spirit 365 days a year. And thank you.